Hi everyone, we're Team Planet. My name is Stephanie. I worked on the back-end development, the database and API for this project.
Hi, my name is Ellen, and I worked on the user experience for the project.
I'm Kylie, and I worked on the branding and design.
I'm Kyra. I worked on front-end development and the integration of Google Maps.
I'm Mai, and I also worked on the front end.
And I'm Kara. I'm rounding up the front-end developers.
All right. So as the world is turning in this sort of frantic way, many of us are called to gather with and for one another. And we often rely on sort of some substandard planning tools to initiate and organize these gatherings. Those tools are usually built to support like individual tasks, the tasks that you're doing for yourself, or they just don't add for future functioning after you send an invitation to your party goers. So we wanted to build an app called Planet, which is the new frontier for making things happen.
This modern interface walks users through the event planning process with guided prompts to ensure preparation for essential resources and considerations, no matter what the event size is. The best part is that responsibility no longer falls on one person's shoulders either. Planet makes intentional collaboration and delegation easy as guests become active participants over passive attendees. It's also the ideal discovery tool for those who want to become more involved in their local communities. From rallies to dinner parties to networking events, you can find whatever strikes your fancy on Planet.
So I've been so inspired by this weekend that I've decided to create my own event for women in tech on Planet. I am going to make it a large event for over 30 guests and set it to private. It's my first time planning a large event, so I am really glad to have this guidance. I'm going to select the type and its meeting, and I'm going to name it Women in Tech, and I'm going to do a simple event description, Women Power, exclamation points. All right, and so now I see some prompts for things to consider before I plan the event. And so it's asking me, do I have a venue or location? So I do actually have a location and venue already, so I can hit next. And then this prompt asks me if I need any supplies, such as chairs, tables, heaters, etc. And this could be really useful if you're not super familiar with your event venue, just to make sure you're asking the right questions. So there are more prompts along the way, but we're just going to speed right through, and we're going to show the end result is this home screen that has everything we just entered.
Okay, so now I'm going to play the role of a separate user, and I would like to take a look at all of my events that I've either made, joined, or have been added to. And so on here, I can see all of my current events, and it looks like I've just been added to the Women in Tech. And so let me check that out. And it looks like my friend Kara has invited me to this event. I'm glad that I'm able to see all of the info of where it is, when it is, and who's all coming. And so I think I might be busy, so let me just cancel, meaning that I'm not coming. But you know what? I lied. I will try to make this event because it is super important to me.
So let's say I want to look at other events happening in the area. So I can go back to the main screen and use the Discover feature to look at locations whenever I press my current location, say St. Paul.
So then we just wanted to show the data structure quickly for our database because we had a lot of features that didn't make it into the front end. Some of our stretch goals for this app are to allow users to add themselves to items on the checklist so that people can contribute to the event, allow users to co-host events because it's hard to do it all on your own. We want to implement a chat feature to increase communication between event planners, and implement Twilio for mass notifications. We built this app with React in the front end and Node in the back, and then the Google Maps API. And thank you for sitting through all of these awesome demos, and that's all.
All right, 3 minutes for judges.
So are you making it a requirement for people to sign up for the app, or can they just use an email and just kind of view it passively in case they don't want to sign up? Or how do you How do you see that happening?
Yeah, we had a lot of discussions in the beginning when we talked about strategy, and we talked about wanting to have a guest or continue as guest feature, and just the way we implemented the database made it easier to prototype with a login, but we definitely envision that to be a feature for this.
Okay. And what kind of next steps do you see for this?
Yeah, I think just continuing to build out the next steps that we mentioned, and as well as building out the continue as guest feature, because like you said, like discovering the events doesn't necessarily require a login, and it will serve the app more if people don't have to log in to do that. And then as far as like monetization, I'll let Kylie speak to that.
So obviously there's like a big opportunity to profit off of this as well. If different corporations or businesses wanted to really promote their event, they could obviously have that kind of sit at the top of the queue. Right, back on that page, we had them kind of in order of the date, but there'd definitely be a way to like rejigger the order a little bit, or have more like push notifications about things if people were interested.
I think it's really interesting. I think it's a combination of like finding a venue, finding a date, finding an audience, who brings what. So I think it's kind of, there are a lot of tools that do all those different things. I think it's interesting to combine them all together. Do you have kind of a target area that you would start with just to sort of build a user base, build some functionality, and let it grow more organically?
Yeah, we definitely start right here in the Twin Cities and make it a local app. Right here in St. Paul, rather, since in cities like St. Paul, for instance, where people are like, oh, St. Paul is so cool, I didn't know that because I don't come here. So yeah, in a place like this with actually so much arts and culture and things going on, it'd be fantastic to launch in a major city like St. Paul.
The other idea we had too was with the location. Like you could search if you're planning a vacation and you want to see if there's any cool things going on that you want to partake in, and see that ahead of time.
On the sort of as you're planning the questions that you asked, would there be so like for venue, if I didn't have a venue, would you serve up options or ideas? And if then the next question was, do you need seating and tables and stuff? Would you connect me to party rental places and things like that? Is that part of the roadmap, or?
That definitely could be part of it. I think right now it's more geared towards like a community organizing sort of thing. So our checklist would have the ability to say you're going to bring something.
3 minutes.
Oh, okay,
sorry.
and that's all. Community organization.
Thank you so much.